You guys are in a position. Okay, so we're just now getting started, and that's gone, and my videos are disappearing as we go here. Okay, so this is my third video. I have no idea. Alrighty then. So, okay, so ethics is the issue. Ethics is the issue. Okay, and nobody is really standing the ground of ethics. I don't see it. I don't see it anywhere. Okay. I appreciate the other story. So as far as Nora O'Donnell is concerned, and the story there at Washington, and Jaime Dimon and IBM right in front of him, you know, right in front of Nora, and they know Nora's reputation. Just be real with her. If she's coming to you for a story, she's going to press for the real story. She's a wonderful, wonderful journalist. You guys can trust the CBS crew in the morning, okay? Tell them the truth. Just tell them the truth, okay? And you are better off telling the truth than sitting there lying to hundreds of millions of people. That is not good for you. Don't do that again. Jaime Dimon, don't do that again. Christine, don't do that again. It's not good for you guys. You know, the American people are not as stupid as your shareholders say they are, okay? So here we are, and then we go to the next story, and that's over with the IMF with Christine. Okay. Right now we have a UN that is congregating together, and that was a little bit said about that, not much. The common denominator, I look at things from that standpoint oftentimes. What is the common denominator that is bringing everybody together? Okay? And the personal interest of each country is the common denominator. That's why they're there. They're there to protect their own interest, and they're there to protect their own homeland. Okay? And they're there to secure the position for one and all for each homeland. All right. So giving them the benefit of the doubt, and we're not even going to talk about corruption right here for a minute. We do want to talk about full disclosure of perpetuity. Okay, so what is the common denominator between Europe, all of Asia, all of Africa, all of the Middle East, all of the world, all over the globe and America? What's the common denominator? Hello? People and value, okay? And every single person all over the world has a last name, right? And the more that you represent your country is the higher the value of that last name. America was founded on a list of names, surnames, and they built this country on those surnames, and they protected those surnames and the dynasties therein in all of our states. They spread it out over all the states, okay? And they compounded the value there. They were geniuses how they did it. And to this day, America is carrying those names. Now, is the common man accessing that? No. Is the privileged? Yes. And what is their title? Trustees. Beneficiary, trustees, or something therein of the structure of trust. Okay? So they are the ones that have been privileged enough to be given the position and a checkbook to be able to run with the ball of finance for individuals or states therein. Assets. Okay? Now, are they doing this in the best interest of the person? No. Why? Because are they really serving the person that they have a trust over? No. They're not serving them. And what is the evidence of that? The evidence of that is poverty. People dying on the watch of trustees that have the money to help when they don't. Our healthcare system, okay, you guys have allowed that to get infiltrated with all these other issues, big issues, shouldn't say bigger issues, because healthcare is a very, very big issue, right alongside of money, Okay, so my point is that the stewardship of those that have privilege, okay, because it's again rights versus privilege, you're going to have, hello, okay, so rights versus privilege, you're going to have those that have privilege versus those that have rights. Common man is the ones that have the rights, but they have to fight for the rights. They can't fight for the rights because they don't have any money. Attorneys will tell you if you don't have any money, you don't have any rights because we're not going to work for you for free. Okay? But even if they work for you, the attorneys work for you, they're not working for you. They're working for the bar. They're oftentimes running around doing things they could care less if you win. Okay? And the only cases that get the attention are those that have a lot of money on the table and everybody knows it. Okay? So the other side of this is the privileged. All of the group of trustees and everybody else who's got privilege. Congress, the House, the cabinet, President Trump, all the presidents before him, privileged. Okay? Immunities. Nobody can, they can get you over criminal actions, but it's going to tie up a lot of people for a long time, and they're always weighing that in the balance. Is it worth the fight? Okay. So, the IMF holding the perpetuity for the global countries that they represent, I am taking issue with you guys on the perpetuity portfolios. And Jaime Dimon understands, and Christine understands exactly what I'm talking about. What are your trustees doing with privileged information and privileged valuations that nobody really knows about? What are you guys doing with that? Okay? Are you compromising the situation for those that you're holding that portfolio in the name of? Okay? And it's criminal. It's criminal if you are. And I know you are. All right. So the deal is disclosure and transparency and stewardship. The deal is trading criminal behavior for integrity and ethics and training and education and true appropriation to each citizen. That is what is clean. That is what is pure. That is what is good. That is what God will get behind. Is this King's X? We're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to, you need to sit your shareholders down. You need to sit your 1% down and say, listen to me. You have made great money on the exploitation of the stupidity of the common man. Okay, granted. But we're done with it. King's X, we're done with it. We are going to open up it's like when you pray as a Christian and you really care about people. You pray, God, holy God, open up the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing over all the people that they can use in their own lives to get where they need to be. Okay? That is a right heart as a banker. That is a right heart as a steward. That is a right heart as a trustee. That you guys are the ones to facilitate bringing forward this value on every human life. You know you've got it on your books, but you've never had permission by the 1%, and now it's time to go and sit them down, okay? Because they're not in their best interest. You guys can say all day long, we're working on the historical books, we're doing status quo, it's made you guys money. I've taught, the billionaires, you know what they say, their thing is we love boring investments because they're passive income. So when somebody comes up and goes, okay, turn on all the lights, pull back the curtains, we're going to, get these sheets off the bed, we're going to clean up this room of unclean, exploitation. And we're going to bring forward a purity of finance of true transparency. This is your value. You have been treated as a slave, but we're now going to honor all of these rights, all of these inalienable rights, all of your sovereignty that is substantiated through the Word of God, highest jurisdictions, and the courts. Okay? You have tied our courts. You've tied the hands of our courts. You have taken away the heartbeat of justice for America, and you have replaced it subtly and seductively with administrative. Administrative is run by code. It is not run by law. They can say that, but it isn't. Okay? Law is law. The rule of law is law. It's not code. All right? Code is a secondary. Code is a plan B. Code is a fast track in manipulating money to serve 1%. Right? You have taken, by allowing, I'm talking to the highest jurisdictions now of technology authorities, and telling you, by you guys allowing an SEC jurisdiction without protecting common law, stewardship, you have undermined our country. So even when we get back our heartbeat of justice under rule of law and good law, in the rule of law, we're still going to have a huge issue with SEC, okay? Because everybody's trading on the stock market, and that's SEC. But as you walking in your power as a human, a common law, you walking in your propria persona, your actual sovereign person, as soon as you hit the wall of SEC, you're shut down, okay? Because that is a contrast, and that is not married to common law. Common law is an old, ancient common law. You guys know it at the UN. You all understand the paradigm of common law foundation. Well, you have undermined your own position of common law investments by saying now we're in SEC and we're going to just float a bunch of this stuff. Negative. That's not good finance. You guys know that. Intrinsic needs to back transaction. Okay? So, what is the biggest intrinsic? Human beings. Okay? Human beings are more valuable across all doctrines, across the board, across the world, across everything. Human beings are more valuable than gold, than silver, than platinum, than any intrinsic metal. Human beings are a greater investment. And you know that's true, but you've been able to exploit that value because of stupidity. Now, it might sound trite, but if you go back to education sector and you look at the beginning of the founding fathers of America, and you look at the textbooks that they used at the beginning of our country for the colonial era, it is the New England Primer, okay? And this is also the evidence that our country was founded on Christianity. It's a primer of learning. It teaches little kids how to have multi-syllable deciphering in terms of reading. It is a high quality, high standard of learning in a very simple and true orientation of the Word of God to the student, of the Word of God in every sector, and it is an alphabet orientation of the Word of God, America, and citizenship. Okay? A, Adam's fall, we sinned all. B, heaven to find the Bible mind. C, It goes through the whole thing having to do with our country, at the beginning of our country, okay, America. But did we get that from, where do we get that from? We got that from the crown. We got that from Europe. We got that from the atmosphere of the UN. We got that from the atmosphere of Christine's Bank, IMF. We got that from the Crown of England, okay? So it's all relevant. It's all relevant because America has been so welcoming to all the nations of citizens to come here and be home here, that she's now getting molested, hello, on the very foundational points of rights, privileges, where we started in our faith as a country, hello, and it's all under siege right now, quietly and silently. Okay, so we are going to do an elegant solution with an elegant approach, or we're going to see another world war. Okay, and that is unnecessary. That is highly unnecessary. That is the most low vibration solution you can possibly think of. Blow it up. Since we can't fix it, just blow it up. Negative. That is very low infantile thinking, okay? And we are way beyond that. We are way beyond that. All right, so you can think about, how are we going to clean this up? And the way that we clean this up is with ethics, high ethics, and believing in that again, all right? So Christine's portfolio of Perpetuity is international. She's got over 100, however many countries on her books. UN books. Those are the books she's carrying. Okay, so then Jaime Dimon, you scoot over to America, you're looking at Jaime Dimon and you're like, okay, what's the connection over there, IMF to Jaime Dimon? Jaime Dimon is doing the American books, but he's also saying we're sending out trillions over in foreign nations. Okay, let's look at that real fast. SEC jurisdiction, let's go back there, all right? These trillions of dollars that he's sending out, these are Delaware corporations, all right? So at the very bottom, if you go and do the forensics on on a lot of these very big 1% corporations, they are American corporations. They're founded in Delaware. However, over the generations, they've moved the money offshore. Okay, so they're getting a double. They're getting a double portion of blessing. Okay, because they're inheriting the Delaware tax trap benefit. They're getting that benefit on American soil. Taxes, and then they're also getting the benefit over on the foreign soil of offshore. Christine knows this, okay? Jaime Dimon knows this, all right? And the collusion is gigantic. So I don't want to just point to those guys and say those guys blah blah, because that's not true. Everybody is involved in this on some level because the structure has been in America since the beginning of America, inherited by Europe. So Europe is going through this. I mean, outside of America is going through this, and we are going through this, all right? So what normally ends up getting people killed is they bypass the 1%, and say, by gosh, we're just going to do this, and you guys are out, and we are in, and, we're going to just strong arm our way through this. That's how you get yourself killed, and I don't want that for anyone. But here's the way to do it, okay? It's a gang. It's a mafia. It's nothing short of a mafia, all right? So if you look at the top of the 1%, like they're on rockers, they're, you know, they're on their front porch and their mom and pa, you know, on the porch. Yeah, they might be mom and pa on the porch, but they're at the head of these mafias, okay? And these are the guys that everybody needs to say in those circles at the very top, these owners of these banks, we are going to cooperate. Because if you're smart, your business model is failing you now, okay? God is getting involved on this, guys. So if you're smart, you'll be like, we're going to cooperate. Hello? Okay? You're gonna say, we're gonna cooperate. Now, what are we gonna do to cooperate? You are going to start a new intrinsic book. You're going to go to the biosector, which is the pharmaceutical industry on one side. That's just the drugs. That's not the, you know the structure. Okay, I don't need to go through it. It's a big one. They have the human body values since the beginning. Okay, the medical sector. They've encroached on intrinsic value because they're human trafficking. Everything. Metadata, which is the smallest issues of identity, all the way to data, all the way to the sectors, all the bifurcated structures, you're going to go find your value there, okay? Now, the difference between their books and your books, the new books, is that the people are involved now, okay, if you disclose. So you got to get mafioso authority to say, yes, okay, we're going forward. You're going to change this mafia status to family, okay, because that's criminal to say, okay, well, we got a mafia or a gang or whatever, and we're going to cooperate with that. That, you know, it's like saying, you know, you guys need to go into an identity of redemption. All mafia, all gangs that want to come clean, you guys have to come into a new identity of redemption and commit yourselves to that. God will honor you to do that. Okay, so your righteousness yields on the new books I'm going to show you. These are going to be exponentially higher, believe it or not, than your criminal covert yields of criminal action, okay, because you're going out and you're doing stuff to hurt people. You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, I don't need to go through all of that. I'm just trying to tell you there is redemption, freedom, sovereignty, higher yields in righteousness, honesty, purity, real friendship, real integrity. We're going to do some major development. Okay, I, the Maiden of Santa Fe, Misha G. Valdez, presidential candidate for 2020, can go toe-to-toe with these issues of criminality, okay? They're exhausting to me, and they're exhausting to God, can I just tell you? I mean, God's energy to bring redemption is far beyond anything that I can ever explain to you. God is so committed to every soul who has become a criminal over the pressure of poverty, over the pressure of slavery. Most criminals have been criminals because they have refused to be a slave. They have refused to be treated like a slave in poverty, okay? The critical mass out here that you guys robbed on the last mortgage crisis, okay? And how you're now, you have that mortgage crisis on the back of the common man citizen who was an honest borrower, okay? You guys totally are trying to break the backs of everyone who believes in the banks. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? You're trying to understand the human behavior. Are they smart enough now? What if we take away their house? What if we take away their car? What if we take away their credit? What if we defame them? Let's get them into defamation of character. Let's call them a deadbeat borrower. Let's take away let's embezzle all of their, credit and blah, blah, blah. You guys have every strategy, criminal strategy under the book to try to break the American people so you can have your 1% Aryan race, eugenics agenda. But that eugenics agenda was coming out of Hitler. So you might want to have it take a seat, pour yourself a glass of tea, and think about the critical spirit of criminality coming out of Hitler. And see, okay, is this really a sound model of business about all of what we have invested in? And no, it isn't. Okay, Hitler was a pawn, all right? And he was a pawn to get a lot of information based on killing 6 million Jews. And you guys have all that information, okay? But that was an exercise of understanding and intelligence for the 1%. Okay, Hitler was a pawn getting information for the 1%. Right? The Aryan race agenda, eugenics agenda. Okay, those are all you guys there at the UN. All right, you understand this. Understand this, and your objective has been control and profit. That is what you've wanted. Those two things are your commodities: control and profit. Right. So the Maiden of Santa Fe has had to sit down in obscurity when no one's around and sit here and meditate upon your side, the 1%, and the common man, 99.9%. Okay. And how can we get everybody at the table an even playing field? Because your rules are pay to play. God is saying, okay, you guys want to do pay to play? Give everybody the money to play. All right? You can't get in the game if you don't have any money. You guys set it up, pay to play, so give everybody the money to play. Don't wait for it's not like Melbourne, okay? The rules to Melbourne is you roll and you roll and you roll. You have to roll a certain thing before you can get on. Negative. No. Our Constitution in America is everyone is created equal. Okay, that's one thing that we haven't even honored yet. Number 2 is the money that is regarding each and every equal individual. Okay? And you can go, oh, this sounds so socialist. I can't believe it. Negative. This is the dispensation of grace. And if you guys are disrespecting God in your daily thing and you're lying to yourself and you're living in this bubble of delusion or whatever, you might want to wake up and stop drinking the Kool-Aid. Because God is real, alive, and kicking. And He's right around us all the time. And He's watching every single thing you're doing, and nothing is hidden. So I suggest you go back to your drawing board of your 1%, have them sit down, and you ask them one question. Do you guys fear God? Because you can't take any of this money with you. Do you care about an eternal destiny? Possibly not in heaven with God? Do you care? Have you read this book? Okay? Because regardless of our opinions, all of our opinions, okay, truth is truth regardless of opinions. Okay? And truth is going to happen whether you or me agree or not on it. It's going to happen. Okay? God is our creator, and we're all going to have a little chat with Him after we die. And it's going to be the full-blown enchilada right in front of Him. Great white throne judgment isn't yet, but we're going to have a little powwow with God right in front of Him. Now, you can have that little powwow with God every single morning, every day, as many times a day as you want. Bible says be in prayer all the time. But that doesn't mean on your knees. That means live your life in a prayerful place so that you can understand what you're going into, and God is going to be there with you in between everything you do if you want Him there. Okay? All right, you guys, I believe in my fellow man, human life person. I believe in Jaime Dimon to do his best. I believe in Christine to do her best for the IMF. I believe in everybody at the UN, that you have an excellence inside of you if you will only reach for that, okay, in integrity. And where you say criminality, if you guys have a meeting at the UN, have one on ethics, have one on lying, have one on privilege versus rights. And are we really giving our people the rights that they have before God? Inalienable rights, okay? Is that being honored? Or are we obstructing that pathway? Are we keeping that? Are we frustrating our people? Are we making them go through systems of failure to fail? How are we setting up people to fail? Are we saying you have rights and not giving you rights because you don't have any money? Okay. I love you guys. This is Maiden of Santa Fe. Bye-bye.